Breaking. Something moved in the background, and it wasn't minor phones lit up. Boards were cleared, and two front offices started talking like January is tonight. You ever feel a rumor change temperature in real time? This one just went from lukewarm to boiling, and the target isn't a fringe piece. It's a playoff shifter. What happens when a window opens and the draft math, the cap math, and the basketball math all point in the same direction? What happens when the Western Conference arms race forces you to either blink or push the stack in? If you're the Lakers, you don't blink. Not with the calendar staring you down and the margins in the West razor thin. Here's what I'm promising. We're going to track the breadcrumbs. How? The rotation has been screaming for a two-way wing. How the film shows a specific hole against jumbo scores. How the cap sheet can flex if you're willing to be creative. And how the league climate makes certain names suddenly accessible. No spoilers yet. I won't say the name. But you'll recognize the silhouette, length, switchability, playoff composure, and a history of hitting big shots on the road. Quick check on urgency. The Lakers' identity this season has a spine, pace under control, half-court reads through stars, and lineups that survive the non-star minutes. But there's a very specific matchup tax they're still paying those 6 feet 7 inches to 6 feet 9 wings who turn perfectly drawn possessions into a late clock bailout. That tax cost them possessions last spring. If you erase it, your offense looks smarter, your defense looks louder, and your fourth quarters look shorter. Welcome back to Lakers News Fan Report. If you live and breathe this team, ride with us. Drop your thoughts. Join the conversation and stay locked in. We're not chasing noise. We're dissecting the kind of mood that changes how May feels in this city. Introduction. Let's lay the canvas before the paint. The Lakers have been walking the tightrope. Win now urgency with a tomorrow that still has to exist. The front office has guarded the premium pick capital like a vault, held firm on young value that needs floor time, and built flexibility into deals so you can pivot when the right name becomes more than a headline. Meanwhile, the court product has asked for the same thing every big game. One more trusted wing who can live in the toughest assignment, cut without demanding touches, and punish help by simply being in the right place. On time, with a clean release, defensively. The book has been consistent. Against heliocentric guards, the Lakers can scheme, swarm, and live with tough twos. Against jumbo wings who weaponize angles and physicality, the margin shrinks. You need a stopper who doesn't foul, who chests up without giving ground, who recovers in 2 steps when screens get muddy. You also need someone who turns defense into immediate offense without hijacking possessions. Rim run, baseline cut, 45 cut, and corner relocation on driving kick. That player lets your stars breathe. Offensively, the ask is humble and lethal. 0.5 basketball catch. Decide, hit the slot cut or the corner 3. In second side actions, you can't stall. The difference between good and Laker basketball has been one extra snap in the chain swing. Touch pass, feet set, splash. A two-way wing who respects that rhythm is worth a first on the right timeline because it turns your star's gravity into team points instead of individual brilliance. The cap sheet? Everyone wants to know how. Structurally, the Lakers can get to matching money without sacrificing the spine, but only if they're willing to get uncomfortable. Think layer contracts, optionality on years, and a third team absorbent filler for a future consideration. It's the kind of puzzle that looks impossible until a rebuilding team decides they'd rather have picks and a clean book than expensive competence. League dynamics matter. 2. A contender with a star on an extension clock, or an organization recalibrating after a turbulent start, can suddenly view a good player as a liquid asset instead of a core piece. That's when serious teams step in with serious packages. And yes, the Lakers are the team other teams call when those windows crack. All right, no more dancing around it. Here's the rumor lighting up texts across the league. The Lakers have moved beyond monitoring and have internally greenlit a pursuit that, according to multiple whispers, reads like a confirmation of intent on Andrew Wiggins. That's the name. That's the archetype. That's the fit that checks every playoff box. Let's separate the theater from the substance. There's no official press release, no team account post, no league memo. This is a love wire rumor built on real conversations and credible dots, not a done deal. But the framing is specific. The Lakers believe they can both afford the acquisition, cost, and integrate Wiggins' role without compromising what they've built. Confirmation, in the way it's being tossed around right now, sounds like the internal green light to pounce if the price falls in the range they've mapped. That's not a signature. It's a stance. Basketball first. Wiggins gives the Lakers three things they do not consistently have in one body: on-ball resistance against star wings, off-ball discipline that keeps shell integrity, and playoff-tested shot-making that doesn't require usage. Put him in your best five, and the screen navigation becomes less desperate. Switches don't panic. You can stay out of the late clock scramble because the first action didn't compromise the base. On offense, he lives where the stars want him: corner, slot, dunker ready to cut behind ball watchers and punish the tagger who took one step too many. He's the rare wing who can give you a quiet 8-8 in a road game 5 without demanding a single play call. Fit with the stars is clean. When your primary is drawing two and your secondary is bending a third defender, the third star isn't a person. It's decision speed. Wiggins' best playoff minutes have been built on that attack a tilted floor. Accept the simple read. Finish strong and don't let the ball stick. He unlocks Spain pick-and-roll variations by being the ghost screener who can slip to space. He fuels Chicago actions by occupying the weak side nail so the cut is clean. And he gives your horn sets a late cutter that makes the elbow touch matter rotation impact massive and generous. Role players don't get erased. They get clarified. Minutes tighten in the spots that swing series. Your wing defense is no longer matchup dependent. Your small ball 5 lineups become knife sharp because the perimeter wall is intact. And your bench shooters get cleaner looks because the help is stretched deeper and wider. The result is fewer miracle shots required from your stars in minutes 42 to 4.8 risk profile. You're not trading for the teenager version. You're acquiring the grown pro who's logged big miles in big months. That costs assets and cap space. You accept the variance in regular season energy because you're buying the postseason version, the guy who controls pace with his feet. You also accept that wing defense ages differently than guard bursts. The IQ and positional strength can carry value longer than highlight dunks. The medicals, the maintenance plan, the workload, those become part of the deal's architecture, not afterthoughts. Cost and construction. Prices move with leverage. A protected first gets you in the lobby. Unprotected or lightly protected puts you in the room. A swap sweetener in a future year plus a recent draftee with starter equity. That's the kind of package that turns maybe into let's keep talking. Matching salary can be delivered in multiple wrappers. A 3-team construct can convert dead money into expiring flexibility for the seller. None of this happens without discomfort. That's the signal you're close. Why the seller even listens. Timelines wobble. Rosters reset. A team that thought it had 2 seasons to evaluate a core can suddenly look at its cap sheet and decide they need draft control and flexibility, more than veteran certainty. If another star's extension looms, they'll streamline responsibilities. That's when your phone rings back. Now the fun part: how games change on the floor. Against switch-heavy defenses, Wiggins is your slip-to-space answer. The overhelp vanishes because the quarter is occupied by a credible finisher, not a decoy. Against drop, he lives in that 12 to 18-foot pocket where your stars can hit him in stride. In late-game ATOs, he's your inbound safety who becomes a secondary action. Dribble handoff to rescreen, pivot to a short roll, kick to the corner. It's a coach's toy box. Matchup lab, Denver? He takes the Murray assignment long enough to save legs while helping peel cutters off Jokic's body. Boston? He sits on Tatum's chest, absorbs the bumps, and funnels drives in the late help instead of early rotations. Dallas, he forces the ball to the third dribbler, which is what any defense wants. Phoenix, he lives on Durant's shooting pocket hand and makes him work on the other end with hard cuts that tax legs. Notice the theme. You're not stopping superstars. You're reshaping shot diets. Culture fit. The Lakers' room isn't delicate china. It's cast iron, veterans set the meter. Workmen like Wings thrive because there's no confusion about shots or touches. Stars draw gravity, role players cash it in. Wiggins has thrived in exactly that ecosystem before. Star gravity, clear rules, big games. Plug and play in June matters more than regular season style points. Counter-arguments deserve airtime. What about saving the premium pick for a younger star? What about the opportunity cost next summer? What if you can get similar defense cheaper? All fair. The rebuttal is simple. Not all minutes are created equal. Playoff wing defense that doesn't tank your spacing is rare and expensive. If you can buy it now and protect your interior pipeline of youth, you're not mortgaging the future, you're insuring the present. Timeline chess. Leverage is a living thing. If the sellers start sours or a different star chase pushes them to consolidate assets, the number drops. If Wiggins' camp wants stability and a defined role, that nudges conversations too. Meanwhile, the Lakers have built optionality into their books for exactly this moment. An internal confirmation of intent means the green light is on. If the traffic clears. Zoom back to the original promise. No guarantee, no confetti. But the whispers are precise enough to matter. The Lakers like the fit, believe the cap pathway is real, and are prepared to engage seriously if the price lands in the band they've drawn. Around the league, that reads like a team that has already decided the archetype is non-negotiable, and the name attached to that archetype is Andrew Wiggins. Your turn. Lakers family, if the ask is a first, a swap, and a young rotation piece, are you paying it? If matching salary means saying goodbye to a fan favorite, do you still push the button? What protections would you insist on? And where do you draw the line between all-in and reckless? Be the GM in the comments. Packages, protections, and reasons. My personal opinion. If the price is steep but reasonable, and the structure preserves the core, you pull it. Wiggins' playoff fit solves a real problem without stealing possessions from the stars. This is a speculation,